طيب 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 تعال عشان تاخذ طوالي. اجيب اقول لك ايه.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الناس اللي معنا طيب يا جماعه المحاضره دي مخصصه للهاي سكولرز والناس اللي يقدموا للجامعات وبرضه بتفيد الناس اللي جايين من السودان او ما عندهم خلفيه في المجال الطبي ودايرين شغل سريع. يلا في حاجتين اتكلم عن بعمل في شنو هو الطب الكثير ذاك دي مخصصه لاي حاجه after the high school all the way to the medical school. بعدين بعد ما احاول اخلص ديل وحاول امشي بسرعه لان احنا تاخرنا. عندنا بنتنا نون حسن عبد الله، عندنا نهاد الى الشيخ، ولو لقينا وقت نخلي ساره برضه تقول لنا حاجه ديل. يعني ساره لسه ما تخرجت لكن ديل خريجين. نور خريجة هندسه مدنيه سيفل انجينير يو سي ديفيس، نهاد نيورو ساينس، وبعدين بوريكم نيورو ساينس زي شنو. طيب الرساله الثانيه طيب يلا ها اي ذول معظم الهاي سكولرز they're confused يعني they don't know what they're doing and they don't know what they want. But you just ask yourself a question. أنا عايش شنو؟ Do I need to just sit at home or just work from an office with a computer like today's software engineering guys, or do I have to am I interested in interacting with patients? In healthcare, you have to deal with patients, people in need. They need to be treated. If the answer is to I'm interested in science in general, I'm helping people, that's your field. لكن إذا أنت كمبيوتر oriented والله تحب الماث والله داير engineering علينا نتكلم عنها بعدين. Basically what Yap fits my personality is this the whole lecture about. يلا طيب أنا سدي ال good news إنه ال healthcare unlike other careers they have quick programs short term and they have very long one. يعني we're talking about there's some programs that you can complete in weeks, but and then in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, all the way to 13, 14 years. But at least there is an option or options. فإذا يلا سلايد ثانية يلا في catch هنا. This is very important. Someone who want to do the quick programs. There's two ways of doing it. Let's say I'm in high school, I want to do phlebotomy class or pharmacy technician or sonography. You can do it either via the community college, the Shogodi, or you can do it through the accelerated private programs. The community colleges keep almost zero now. I don't think they charge anything right now. I don't know. But it's a little bit longer. There's some bureaucracy. I have to do a semester this, semester that, and you have to be on the waiting list, and we may not catch it this year, then you have to wait the year after. What is free? The other disadvantage of the college way is many times they don't have clinical orientation or regulation internship. But it's the connection to find a job is harder. Again, let's say if you want to do let's say pharmacy technician through the college, You can finish here, they give you the associate degree, but then when you go and look for a job, it's harder to find a job. لأن ما بكون عندك experience ولا عندك clinical background. لكن إذا عملت through private programs where you pay money, they usually have spots so you can do the clinical part of it. So one part is classes and the other part is clinical training. And then because you already do the training there, you're more likely going to find a job if they like you and if they do have if they are hiring. So this is very important. If you're a high schooler, want to look for those quick jobs, you have to decide which way to do it. Next slide. There are some examples of less than a year programs. البروجرام دي كتير جدا جدا وانا بس اخترت فيها الحاجات السريعه لانه ممكن اكتب كل ليل وكده لكن like the EKG technician you can do it only for like few weeks. Weeks معناها ايه 6 to 7 weeks could be 9 weeks depends on the program. San Francisco and I did the phlebotomy program long time ago and like about 8 weeks at San Francisco State. جيت عملت internship في كايزر اوكلاند they hired me. This is just an example as a way of doing it. The medical transcriptionist دي ضفتها لانه لقيتها highly demand there's high demand now for it. Transcriptionist يعني الدكتور بعد ما يعمل let's say surgical procedure they dictate what they did. There's someone behind the scene in Nebraska or Chicago and they transcribe and just translate الحاجات دي الكلام بتاعه و it also help the doctor with the data of the transcription كده. The sterile equipment technician that also in the surgical room they just clean the equipment. There's a high demand for it. Next slide. And then the phlebotomy, everybody or most of you knows phlebotomy basically drawing blood, but that's what I did long time ago. That's how I got to put my foot in the door. Through this job, I was able to get into the hospital, and then when I got to the hospital, I just keep getting up and up and up, just getting jealous and whatever motivated to see where the people who make more money are, or I just seek more education. That's one of the way of doing it. Medical assistant is also very demanding now and also takes 6 to 9 months. And you can do it through pay money or through the community college. So dental assistant and certifying nursing assistant. I like the pharmacy technician because they always when I look for the job news, they always look for those. Not only for like few weeks. Again, this is for someone who would say like, hey, I don't want to go to college, or I want to get a quick job to make a little money before I go to college, or just come from Sudan, who came from Sudan and have no idea what to do, so they can go and do this. But the person who come from Sudan or abroad, unlike you guys who were born here, they have to take English classes, English 1A, English 1B, just to get to catch the market that way. Of course, they have no clue of the language is a big barrier for them. The emergency medical technician, it's a very highly demanded job, and it's not a 4-year. It's still less than 1 year. But this is like 3 kinds, and I'm just, this is a very good job. But it had the basic one. You just do CPR and oxygen treatment, and the one in the middle, you just give some medications. But the paramedics, the high advanced one, they do everything, including intubation, when you put the breathing tube in someone's form. This one, you need to be very energetic. You need to be moving. You could drive the ambulance, or you could be part of the team who does treat the patient. But this is the first step when someone in emergency and they're on their way to the hospital where everything begins. So they really stabilize the patient. That's what their job is. I don't know if, I think they make between, depends. Okay, making money is different from one hospital, from one state to another. Out of the whole United States, California is the highest pay. Out of California part, Northern California is the highest. Northern California, highest spot is the area around Napa County. So it depends on where you are. If you're in California, you're gonna get paid more. If someone makes like about $50 or $40 an hour here, I mean, a place in Chicago, they could make like 20 or 25 because the living expenses and other factors. But these ones, very quick, you don't have to, it's not a 4-year college. You don't have to have any other education other than high school diploma and then a few prerequisites. Okay, now there's a program like 2 years. 2 years in general in the community college called associate degree. But the associate degree, if you do it in nursing, that's they call it the associate degree of nursing. You can be an RN, registered nurse, through 2 ways. Now we're going to talk about nursing in a little bit. But if you take that 2 years, you can take an accelerated program in nursing and become a nurse in like a year and a half after this, or 2 years. And you can finish the whole 4 years college and you make a Bachelor of Science, for nursing. And they both register nurses after you take the board exam, of course. Some hospitals like the BSN, some hospitals they don't care. They just hire you with good programs. Okay, now there are some other jobs. You guys pay attention to this. You can do this in about 2 years after high school. I mean, when I say 2 years, for someone who's serious, just want to go and do it, not just take your time and take one class as you wish. It's gonna take you forever. But just take one of those programs, let's say sonography programs where you do the ultrasound. There's so many programs in the Bay Area, but they vary like around 2 years. So what do you do in ultrasound? You have a doctor taking live picture, let's say, of a baby, for example. Then the doctor want that. Or there's like a kidney stone or something. Okay, the radiography, the X-ray, and the CT scan, those are nuclear rays, and I don't recommend it for females. This one, the radiography. The sonography is safe, you can do it. 2 years. In 2 years, also you can do also called respiratory therapist or physical therapist. I think they have some prerequisites like English 1A, English 1B. But those are good jobs, and also dental hygienist. Also, two programs of dental hygienist, basically you work with a factory, clean somebody does and everything, but it's also highly demanded. Okay, sonography has physics, and if you don't like physics, you have to think about it because you have to study physics for it. I'm just giving you the jobs and approximately how it takes to graduate and other alternatives before you go to college. Next slide. Now we're going to go to the 4-year college, 4-year college biological science. Once again, I'm not talking about engineering. This is only for science. Engineering is coming up. Now, when you do this 4 years, then you can go anywhere you want. We have Bitter Hilal, neuroscience. Very interesting. Neuroscience, you can go. She's interested in doing PhD. I just talked to her. You can go to the medical school, you can go to the pharmaceutical school, you can go to research, and it just the door opens for you all over. Okay. Bachelor of Science has so many branches. We have Bachelor of Microbiology like Dr. Bashir microbiology. والله كنت أعملها في chemistry, biochemistry, all this pre-med, they call it pre-med, meaning that before the medical school, um, or the dental school. So if you in the second year, you study the first 2 years, generally you can do either the community college or you can do the whole thing at the university. Each one has advantage and disadvantage like the one that we talked about earlier. I mean, if you want to do the community, the 2 years in the community colleges, again, it's cheap. When you live with your parents, you eat their food, they don't have to pay anything. And but it can make you lazy. If you want to take it serious, you can take instead of 2 years, you can do it in 5 years, and then you may lose interest. But we have a very good example with Sarah Bashir. I was في 1 year and a half. She's already now in the big college now in her second year. So if you want to go to science, once you stuck with this 4 years, then you're not gonna change your mind and say, I'm gonna go to engineering anymore. But you are already in that direction. Let's say you finish your 4 years, there is a 4 year degree. Only the registered nurse I talked to you about earlier, you do 2 years associate degree and then 2 years nursing classes. Now they accelerated too fast. It's not even 4 years anymore, it's like about 3 years. And nurses make money. Nurses make like between $70 to $125 now an hour. Based on what they do, where they work. If they work in ICU, intensive care unit, they make $100 plus an hour. So and nursing is not for everyone. Very stressful job, but it's very rewarding. If you really want to do nursing, you really have to choose it with confidence. It's almost always built for females because that's the nature of the job is. But right now the role is increasing. They do most of the stuff of treating the patients. The doctors come and make the order and leaves. It's a nurse who apply all these orders. And she is there with next to the patient all day long. So that's why it's very, they pay them very good, and whatever they make right, they respect them. The whole state, everybody, oh, give him more please, because we're talking about the patient. Now every time they say, oh, the nurse patient ratio is not fair, meaning that we nurses are giving them 4 or 5 patients, they complain, and they'll say, hey, that's too much for us. And then there's always negotiating. But it's a very, very good job, and it's not long. You're talking about only 4 years after you graduate from high school. Again, there's 2 years. You can pay money and get an accelerated program. You can do it in 3 years, or you can go start 2 years in community college and make you go through that path. But it's guaranteed you're doing it the accelerated way. Speaking of, there is a very good school for nursing. Some in Merit University, some in hospital, some in Merit Hospital in Auckland. Now they call it alternate Samuel Merit. It's a very good nursing school. And that school not only is good, it's one of the top nursing school in the country, but also they do physician assistant program, and they also have nurse practitioner program in that school, and I will talk about those. I did the physician assistant program with them as a master degree. And it's you have to pay money because it's private, but it's very good. They guarantee the job because they train you in hospital in Auckland, in Summit Auckland Hospital. Okay, 4 years plus now. So now let's say you finish the biological science and you have a bachelor's degree of microbiology or biochemistry. One of the fields that you can easily get into and it's very rewarding is a clinical laboratory scientist job. And we have more of people from in our community now that have this job. We have Dr. Bashir, Dr. Khalid, they one day they're gonna do a big workshop about the whole laboratory science. And I don't wanna talk, I cannot talk a lot about it now, but the laboratory has three main jobs: a phlebotomist to draw the blood, and one after that, and they, okay, lab assistant phlebotomist is the same now, because they hire you as a phlebotomist, and they, once you do the processing, they start processing the specimens and work with the computer, draw blood and processing, use after lab assistant. That's number one. Second one, there's something called laboratory technician. Laboratory technician is a 2-year study. Lower than the clinical scientists, they can run the machine, but they cannot, not all that, they can do certain tests. And then the laboratory scientist, clinical lab scientist, or CLS, the very good job. And that's the highest up in the laboratory. So this again, 4 years in college, 1 to 2 years training. San Francisco State program is one of the programs. You can do the training, and then some San Jose, Cali State San Jose also have it. UC Davis used to have it, but I think they disconnected it. There's some other jobs I inserted here, so to give you some more options after 4 years. You can do 1 to 2 years of clinical studies in the, this is belong to the pathology department. There's 2 jobs, one of them is cytologist or histologist. But basically the cytology, they look in the microscope through the cells, and let's say they detect and they distinguish the cancer cells from the normal cells. That's the cytologist. Histologists, they work on the tissue, and they also help diagnose the doctor with the disease. So those are very good, and they're not well known, so they are very good. Not everybody do this because there's not that many programs. They are just but they make a note of those just in case you can like those, you can read about them. Okay, the nurse practitioner and the physician assistant, they're the same. The next slide is a physician assistant. But the nurse practitioner, like I told you earlier, Samuel American University, it's a master's degree. Registered nurse usually go become a nurse practitioner. Physician assistant also have to finish for the years of science, but you have to have some sort of clinical experience, and they will accept you. But nowadays, the nurse practitioner and the physician assistant, they just like the doctors, like private physicians. They treat the patient, they prescribe medications, they do almost everything. And although on paper they say you work under supervision, no. After they train you, you're on your own. You just work like a doctor. One doctor take one file per patient, you take that, and you're just a physician assistant or nurse practitioner. Very good stuff. But you have to be an RN first, registered nurse. Again, this is 4 years of college as a nurse, and then 2 years of this program. Is mostly the private program, and we have a good one here in the Bay Area. You guys have to think about those. Very highly demanded. Next. Physician assistant, just like the previous slide, the nurse practitioner, just like a primary doctors, like your general doctor. But they can also work as a specialties like surgery. They be a surgery assistant, surgeon assistant, and some OBGYN, and I have a lot of whatever. But they make good money, and it's also 4 years of biological science, whether it's in neuroscience or microbiology. They're all biological science. This is physician assistant. Next. Now the pharmacist. Now we're going a little bit higher, time-wise and money-wise. Because pharmacists, very good. 4 years biological science and 2 to 4 years of pharmaceutical school. So you just finished between 6 to 8 years. But some accelerated programs are like 6 years only, but then you have to apply and start with it from the get-go. You cannot finish your 4 years and then look for the production. But pharmacists, like the pharmacy technician that help the pharmacist, but it is the pharmacist who make the medication, give you the medication, and then call you on the other way to tell you the side effect of the medication. Those are the pharmacists.
Good job. Good job.
Okay, now the dental school. Now a little bit more years. Dental school between the pharmaceutical school and the medical school as far as times. So you do 4 years of science, you do the dental admission test. And then you do 4 years of dental school. And you don't have to do residency in the dental school. You can work as a generalist, as a dentist with the 4 years of dental school. But if you do residency, you just can specialize in some more stuff, like the pediatrics, dental, and or surgery. Now we go to the medical school. Probably the last step of the biological science, and this is very long. And if you're thinking of that, you just better just forget about your other life, because I mean, it's very good. Don't take me wrong, but you have to be dedicated. You have to be ready for it, because it could be like up to between 11 to 13 or 14 years to finish. If you go one go, very good, taking care of people, and it's very rewarding. It's long in the fact that you do 4 years science, you have to take the MCAT, Medical College of Vision test, and then 4 years biological science, MCAT, and then 4 years of medical school. Once you graduate from medical school, you do step 1 and step 2, you will get a certificate called the MD, Medical Doctor. And then you do residency between 1 to 7 years. That's basically more training of what you do in the future. Okay, now, there are some new laws right now coming up that some states like Arizona and Nebraska, and I think on Tennessee, you can work only with step 1 and step 2 exams without supervision as a primary care physician. And there's some newer, shorter residency right now. They call it fellowship. You do something called fellowship in geriatrics. Geriatrics, the elderly people. That's the geriatric population. You see, children population, the regular and the geriatrics. That's 1 year of training, and then you can work. You can treat those. You can specialize in those. So I don't know what else to say about the medical school other than the specialties, which is next slide. And you can specialize in a lot of things. You can just be a primary physician, or you do surgery, or medicine, and all that stuff. And specialties are increasing every couple of years because there's some more. The science, medical science is enlarging, and once you're there, you see what you like, and you just go for it. But to get there is a decision you make before you waste your time. So now, I think this is the last slide, but so the bottom line is, let me summarize all this. So the medical field, the healthcare has a lot of opportunities for a few weeks. $40,000 for 13 years, $500,000 a year, and anything in between. But go to the science self, have the science, when you go to engineering or science, this is for you. And unfortunately, half of you change their mind by the second year of community college or school. But try to focus on what you like. Very much I'm done with my quick slides, and I'm very proud and honored to introduce أخوكم نون حسن عبد الله, التخرجت من UC Davis وأنا معاه بتاع مهاد إلى الشيخ قريت من نيورو ساينس يعني and the reason why we invited them because mashallah ربنا يحفظهم very young so they just wait for it from the get-go non-stop until they finish يقولوا ما شاء الله hopefully they are mentors for those kids and motivation for them وكده ده الهدف الأساسي المساكين ناس ما قبلنا نلاقي شو تعريف ما شاء الله لسه كيف حاجة ينسى وحالي مستنيين يدوا المصاريف لكن they just graduate but I just want to show these kids that hey it's possible it's doable if you want to do it you can do it I just imagine if someone put their careers are very unique civil engineering is very unique for a female to do civil engineering is very tough and she's tough and then the neuroscience is very interesting not everybody think about it. She was thinking outside the box يعني let's there's a question or something I'm going to get going and let them speak or do I am going to say something? Assalamu alaikum.
I was sitting there and listening. So the thing I heard is science, medicine, engineering. I think this is a bias because we come from Sudan. So we the old generation, when we grow up, either you be a doctor or you be an engineer. But the reality is this is not applicable today from my point of view. So I don't want to feel that you are put on the spot, either you're going to be an engineer or you're going to be a doctor. Because we are in a different place, in a different time, we're in a different country. So I know, I see it in my kids too. Yeah, you, Baba. Whenever they tell me, I say, that's rubbish. How can you be? Yeah, you're gonna be homeless if you follow this kid. No. So you are a special one. Meaning, if you look at your parents, maybe 20 years ago, your parents, their first task was in Sudan it was very hard. They were one main university. One main university. Everybody competes to that university. So imagine a lot of brilliant people, and the enrollment is like 5,000 students. So what does it mean? There are a lot of intelligent people who cannot go there. That's the reality. You have to be super intelligent. Super intelligent. So the reality is, your parents then came here. Okay? So a lot of them, they were not doctors, they were not engineers. They were working security guard, they were working in gas stations, they were working in restaurants to make it. Okay? So you have a head start. So you have to be appreciative of this first of all. I know there's a lot of weight on you, and sometimes you feel there's a lot of pressure. But look, you are still fortunate. You have to be thankful about this. You have a head start in life. Your parents sacrificed to bring you to this place, to this country, where now it's a different ballgame. So what I want to say is, look, in this country, you don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be an engineer. Like, you have to be good in what you pick. Very important. Passion. So don't go the lazy way. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. Don't pick a major because of laziness. You're going to be suffering all your life. Okay, this affect now college years. This is where you step into adulthood. You know, you grow a mustache if you're a boy. You're a woman, you put lipstick and start walking different. Anyway, you are grown. You know what? The decision that you make right now gonna affect your lifestyle for the rest of your life. So don't go the lazy way. Go the smart way. You don't have to be an engineer. You don't have to be a doctor. So you know what? You enroll in classes. In this country, the opportunities are limitless. Here, actually, they don't look at you super if you're an engineer. Oh, you're super if you're a doctor. No, they appreciate artists. They appreciate nursing. They appreciate teacher. They appreciate. Well, there are a lot of things, but you know what? But the reality is, when you go to a science field, you can make money in an easy way. For example, to be an engineer, you don't have to be super smart. You get the degree, your bachelor degree, then you enroll in university, you get a job, You don't have to be the smartest person in the company. The smartest people will create the products, and you support the product. You can get by, but your standard of living will be good. You're getting well paid. You know what? If you get sick, you are not working by the hour. You are working by a wage. That means what? You get sick. It doesn't affect your pay. You get vacation time. You get family time. So your lifestyle is so much better. Versus when you go the easy way, and then you end up suffering a lot. When you go, you work hourly, something happens to you, you don't have medical insurance. Some of you now, you might have medical insurance, you take it for granted. You have braces for your teeth. You go to a doctor for your medical checkup, physical checkup. You are taking this for granted. But this, not everybody has it. In this country, a lot of people, they don't have health care. That's the reality. So your career is so important. So you take classes. Don't say, I don't want it. Take a class. You know what? Sometimes you are good at something that you don't know about. Till you take a class. Till you might take a class in biology, for example. Oh, I loved it. The cells, the way they divided it. You might love it. Then you go and pursue that career. But you have to try. And you find something that you like, you know what? Pursue it 150%. But it's something that you like, you're gonna be good at. So when you go in the field, you're gonna excel. Because don't go and tell me, I'm gonna make it in English. What are you gonna do in English? Reality, you can be a teacher, but the possibilities. No. What I mean is, it's a very limited field, very competitive, you're gonna be teaching in school. Imagine how many people will be majoring that. And the other thing is, there's also one part of you that you might sometimes don't think about. Look, you are Sudanese. You are bilingual. You are an Arabic speaker in the back. That means at one point, maybe you want to go to the Middle East. So pick something that can take you anywhere. Don't limit yourself in a very narrow place because of laziness. That's my point. Don't pick a major because you are lazy. I don't want to do this. What is this? This looks easy. In 1 year, I'm done. No, you will be suffering. So, look, years in this country, fly like this. Today you are a teenager. Tomorrow you are an adult. You are on your own, and it's too late. See, when you reach the 30s, this is where you make yourself. 32, 35, too late to try to reverse the clock and say, I want to go and study this. So right now, take your time, pick a major, excel in it, and then you will do good in life. You don't have to be a doctor, neuroscience, or neuroengineer, or whatever engineer. But anyway, that's my point. I just want to say this. So good luck and focus on that, okay?
هجيب لها بس هبدا السلايد بتاعتها.
Any questions? He's looking for the slides. Sarah. Sense ability.
It's been 8 years.
This has to do with
نتكلم معاه عشان ده bad example.
You get started. يلا يا جماعة ركزوا فيها الأعمال مختلفة هنا ولأن يقدر يكون فيها ديشن. This site also
I want to talk about navigating. I wanted to talk about navigating engineering and how to learn from high school to college. So, if anyone has that, this is graduated. This is engineering. So I'm gonna start off by talking about applying to colleges and how high school was like for me. So high school is the time where you start preparing for college. It doesn't start your senior year, it's well before that, and you should take necessary steps to set yourself up for success.
Okay.
So you should take challenging courses, to prepare yourself for college courses, after that community college. You should participate and have leadership positions in school organizations, because that's really gonna set you up for the application process. And remember that it's quality over quantity. So if you join 10 clubs and you're just a regular member in all of them, it's not going to make as much of a difference as if you were in one club but you were the president. And you don't have to have your exact major chosen by the time you finish high school. When you get to college, you're going to have the opportunity to explore different majors and careers. I didn't think that I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be a lawyer. So how to apply to college, you're gonna research the college that you want and what programs they excel in. ECOs is not for engineering program, but for someone that does animal science, they also have a really good veterinary program. They also have a really good bio program. And they're gonna ask around and get knowledge on how to apply, and you're gonna ask for help from others. So the counselors at my school, there was college and career counselor that I went to for help. And you have to apply your top choices, but understand that admissions are very competitive. So you're also gonna add safety schools or schools that you're sure that you're gonna get into or that you have a better chance of getting into. You should apply to at least 10 colleges just to vary your chances. I think I applied to around 11. And then for UC specifically, you should understand the different campuses and find the best fit for you. So if I'm farther away, like UCLA or just in a good fit for me. You should also make sure that you meet your high school course and admission requirements. So there's APG requirements that UCs require and set number of years that you have to take math and science classes as well as English classes. And the UC application, it doesn't have a standard long essay. The application has 8 short essay prompts and you choose 4 that you want to respond to. And in your answers, you should emphasize any challenges that you had, leadership qualities that you have, and personal growth, because those are the things that they want to see. So, just look to the applicants, and I know people say that a lot. So, what that means is that you're involved in communities, such community service, and it's best if it's in a field that you're planning on majoring in or highlights a skill that you developed. And the more consistent you are, the better. So the longer that you can do this, it's gonna look better on your application because they're gonna see that you're dedicated to that topic. And they're also gonna look for your academics. You should have high GPA, and getting a high GPA is often done by taking those courses such as the AP classes. And then you should also have a clear interest in the field that you want to pursue. This basically means that your application should have a theme to it. So I wanted to do law, I wanted to do environmental law, so I joined a lot of environmental clubs and had positions in them as well. And they're also going to look for your character, who you are, what you like in life, leadership qualities, resilience, and curiosity. They want to make sure that you're a good fit for their school. So you should explain the type of person that you are. And Good essays can make or break your application. Even if you have a 4.7 GPA, if you don't know how to write, if you don't know how to communicate and explain yourself well, then that's not going to be your best foot forward.
In SACO, we help a lot of people with the first one, involvement, the community. So we can write a letter from SACO, polishing you and giving you nice.
So why I chose engineering. So engineering challenges you to think differently. It's a very structured problem solving approach. So you learn step 1, 2, and 3 until you're able to solve your problem. It also teaches you to think analytically. You always ask how something works and why it works, not just okay, it works. Engineering makes a difference. You're solving global challenges. You're adding to the world's technological advancements. For me, I'm a civil engineer, so we're all about infrastructure and safety. Engineering essentially keeps society functioning. We all came here on roads. I specialize in transportation engineering. Engineering also gives you many options, and the skills are highly transferable. So even if you majored in engineering and wanted to go into something else, skills are highly transferable, and it's going to provide career opportunities for you. So there's a lot of engineering majors. We often just think about the main ones: mechanical, electrical, aerospace. But engineering is a lot, and some of these majors I didn't even know about until I got into college. So I did civil engineering and environmental engineering. But when I went to college, I discovered that there was also material science engineering. It's kind of combines everything that I really like. So general degree requirements, you're gonna have to keep track of your degree requirements. It's up to you. There's a more hand-holding. Nobody's gonna tell you the classes that you have to take. You're the one that should take responsibility for yourself. So there's university requirements, and these apply to all colleges, regardless of what college that you're in. At Davis, there was biological sciences, engineering, agriculture, environmental sciences, and College of Letters and Sciences. So university requirements are for everyone. They include general education courses and even courses outside of your majors. I could take a psychology class as a GE or history classes. They're typical requirements and to make a decision around it. So you're not focused on just something you just said. There's also entry-level writing requirements, and these should be completed by your first year because they kind of dictate the other classes that you can take. But this is also satisfied by completion of the English exam with a score of 4 or higher. So if you take English and you score 8 then you won't have to worry about this. So there's also college requirements. There's 2 composition requirements, one for lower division and upper division students. Lower division is converted in your first years, and upper division is in your 3rd and 4th year. There's also placement exams for calculus and chemistry. For engineering specifically, you have to take an exam to see which ones you can take and which chemistry you can take, and the score on them kind of dictates the classes you can take and therefore your major. So for Davis, there was a lot of different maths, but I had to take a placement exam to score into math 21A. So if I take a good score, I wouldn't be able to take that math class, and I wouldn't have been able to do my major requirement. So after college requirements, there's major requirements, and these are the classes that you take that are generally, but they're equal to for each engineering major. So lower division requirements should be completed in your first 2 years, and they're physics, chemistry, biology, introductory engineering courses like Introduction to Engineering Design, engineering problem solving, and I also have to take a programming course. And these are classes that you're going to take with all engineering majors, so just college classes. And then once you get more specialized, you're going to take upper division classes, and to be able to take upper division classes, you're supposed to have finished your lower division requirements, or at least a set of specific classes. This is when you really get into your specialized major classes. Your classes start to get smaller, and you also get to choose topics that you're interested in. After you've completed the majority of your average requirements, you're going to do in engineering specifically a capstone project, which you can choose what it's going to be about, and it's basically a culmination of your engineering experience. So, the reality of engineering degree, large engineering classes are very difficult, and the class can have 500 plus people. So, a common misconception is that introductory classes are beginner classes, and beginner classes mean is that to discourage you from going into a field, but in reality, they're very fast paced, they have heavy workload, and there's difficult exams with low averages. It's very normal and typical and expected that you don't do as well as you did in high school. These classes, they're tough on purpose to see how you handle challenges, and they're designed to test problem solving and persistence, which are two qualities that are necessary for success. Because success also depends on coding and consistency, so you should start assignments early. Many concepts are going to be taught at the same time, so studying a little bit every day instead of studying last minute. You also have to understand that time management is a skill, and it's important that you learn it very early on. You also have to recognize when struggling alone is no longer productive. You should ask for help. The resources are there for you to take advantage of them. So you can ask your classmates, you can go to office hours, there's teaching assistants and tutoring centers, and all those are for you. They're to help you. People also don't understand that communication is a big part of engineering. Communication skills, I would say, matter as much as technical skills. You're often writing reports that are 50 plus pages long and giving presentations and engineers and engineers. You also have to understand you're not expected to. This time, the common career paths are design and development, the creation of new products. There is manufacturing placements that are about optimizing and overseeing production. There is consulting and analysis, which is something that I'm more interested in. It's about providing technical assistance and solutions for specific products that you troubleshoot. I really like this field because you get to work on different projects for certain amount of time. So one time you could be working on a project, and next month you can be working on a structural engineering project. There's also project management teams. These are more typical of engineers after they've run their technical requirements and continue to start to lead the technical teams. There's also research positions where you investigate and study specific issues, you improve current engineering processes and techniques. So even if you major in something specific, these are all different paths that you can take so a lot more. And finally, this is a quote from the engineer. It's also the deep quality. He says, "The engineer has been and is the computer of history."
اي واحد من اولادكم ديل لما ينتهوا امتحان تقولوا مثلا as a community احنا Sudanese community organization actually ده هي دي مش هي حته حاجه ما ننكلها في لو عرفت
ما ننكر.
so that's all they want now she can say hey I taught this class in our community قلنا في الرسم بتاع فإذا تتذكروا انه خسرونا اذا كان قبل عندكم محاضره قبل 3 اسابيع كده كانت المحاضره اللي عملتها انا هنا طوالي بكتبها في الرسم بتاعها وبنخليها بس كده. And they look for personnel. They look for other skills. They just not look for the academics. يعني they're not interested only in the bachelor degree of science. But they want to see the other side of you. How helpful are you? What's your extracurricular activity? And so forth. So you need to write that on your resume.
They don't want nerds. They want somebody who can get an education and go and affect their community. This is why if you have okay good grades, not excellent, good grades plus community involvement, you are better off than an excellent grade with somebody who's just on his desk just studying.
Then one more point. I mean, if you guys like those such lectures, we can do more. Meaning that right now, I briefly touched on clinical. I mean, the healthcare. She talked briefly about civil engineering, which is one of many things. But there are so many other careers. لو هيجي بالي قال لكم استدعوا about medicine and هندسة. There's a lot of other things. Accounting, business, blah blah blah. يعني احنا عندنا ناس ما شاء الله في الكوميونتي، ناس عندهم شهادات ومباشرة. ناس عندهم skills وعندهم career very good. We can bring them up. And every now and then we'll make this is a series of lecture if you guys want. But if it's helpful, especially for those for the younger, and also for the older, we can continue that. Any question for you? تعلم من هذا عليك بس يصير. I know you're not ready for مناسبة لهذا إلى الشيخ. She wasn't part of this lecture, but she will be in the future at some point. But I just want her to introduce herself and what is she's doing like about a couple of minutes. طيب نعم. Question. في مين عندي question? Yes.
So what made you switch from law to engineering? I was interested in environmental law, and I kind of realized that maybe instead of getting the politics of how things work, I could, be a part of like new techniques and innovations in that field. So yeah.
Last week we had a Sudanese woman lawyer, an immigration lawyer who came here and did a presentation. It's on the SACO YouTube. So we need doctors, we need engineers, we need lawyers, we need pharmacists, we need nurses, we need artists, we need.
Question. So do you have to go and study law after this one, or how are you going to go for civil law or engineering law?
No, I want to stay in civil engineering and I want to be more technical. So I specialized in structural and transportation engineering. So I really want to work on, like real life problems and applications in this field.
You don't have to do another degree for
No.
Same area, there is a law side. Okay.
No, there's not a law side. Law was something I was interested in the beginning.
And that was after you got your first paycheck?
I switched.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just need to add, there is a major in civil engineering called construction law, which has both law as a law and civil engineering construction law. That is for master degree.
Amuadada is a civil engineer, by the way. So.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Nihad Sheikh. I studied at UC Davis. I did neurobiology, physiology, and behavior. And then I also minored in public health. I spent my college career focusing on the intersectionalities of drug discovery, especially in the field of cancer. And then my future goals are to work more in drug discovery and developing treatments and researching various diseases in both fields. I used to, but I think I like research a little bit more, and I like the idea of having more of a broader impact in drug discovery than in one-on-one health interactions.
يلا يا جماعة، شكرا لكم على حسن الاستماع. شكرا على هذا المفرغ. شكرا يا همس، اكثر واحد كان مشجع وكان فوكس. كل سؤال لينا.
طبعا هنا دراسه تاخذ زمن طويل يعني.
ايوه
يلا versus outside focus swing to come back and you do
very good question.
اللحمه
You don't have to go to medical school in the United States only. You can do it abroad. يعني في بلد ثاني. لكن you have to do it right away from high school. أنا معتز عنده دكتوراه في قبرص. تقرا طب. ممكن تقرا في مصر السودان يعني بس لكن برضه possibility. يلا the difference you save about 2 years if you study abroad. 1 or 2 years. And the classes over there are like 5 to 6 years straight from high school. They accept all the high school diploma from here from the United States. Okay, now it's cheaper over there. And here now it costs about what you got from the